Hey there, Dana DiTomaso here from KP Playbook. If you've been working with Google Analytics 4 and finding yourself confused about all the different page dimension options, you are not alone. Today, I'm going to break down exactly what each of these dimensions means, when to use them, and how they can help you create more useful reports. Whether you're a marketer who occasionally needs to pull reports together, or you're helping clients figure out their GA4 setup, this guide will clear up the confusion. Now, let's dive into understanding page path, page location, and all those other similar sounding options in GA4. When someone visits your website, GA4 records this as a page view event. One of the key pieces of information attached to this event is something called the page location. This page location serves as the foundation for all other page-related dimensions in GA4. So what exactly is the page location? It's the full URL of the web page someone is visiting on your website. For example, if someone visited our Practical GA4 course page, their page location would be this. But if they came through a Google ad, there might be additional parameters at the end, which would then make the page location look more like this. Now, when should you use page location in your reports? This dimension is particularly useful when you need to see the complete URL, including the domain name and any extra parameters that are added on, like that gclick ID you just saw. You can use it when you're troubleshooting tracking issues, or if you're analyzing the full impact of campaign parameters, or if you're working with multiple domains in the same GA4 property. This is one way you can see all the different domains. Now let's talk about those extra bits at the end of URLs. Those UTM underscore parameters tell GA4 how to categorize this traffic. If you're not familiar with campaign tagging, we have a free guide on our website that walks you through it. Parameters can also indicate variants of the current page. For example, on an e-commerce site, the variant parameter might show which version of a product someone is viewing, like this. Sometimes you'll see URLs with a hash symbol, also called a pound symbol, instead of a question mark. Those are called fragments, they're not parameters. They're often used with JavaScript frameworks like React. For example, you'd see a URL that looks like this. Now, if you have URLs with fragments, you might need special tracking configurations, which we cover in another tutorial on our website. Now, while page location contains the full URL, what you'll see most often in GA4 reports by default is the page path. The page path is just the portion of the URL between the domain name and any question mark or hash symbols. For example, if this is your page location, then this is what your page path is going to be. Now, when should you use page path? This is perfect for cleanly analyzing your content performance without all the noise from parameters. You want to use it when you need to understand what pages visitors are viewing, regardless of how they got there or what product variants they might be looking at. In GA4, you'll also see an option called Page Path and Screen Class. If you're only tracking websites, not apps, this dimension is exactly the same as Page Path. The Screen Class part only applies to app tracking. Now, what do you do if you want to see those parameters, though? That's where Page Path plus Query String comes in. This dimension includes everything after the domain name, including any parameters after the question mark. So let's go back to our earlier example of this particular URL. In that case, the page path and query string would look like this. Now, when should you use page path plus query string? This dimension is valuable when the parameters are critical to your analysis. For example, if you do need to track product variants, or if you need to analyze specific content versions, or e-commerce websites where URL parameters could indicate product options or search filters. The landing page dimension shows the very first page a visitor sees when they arrive on your website. There's two options here. There's landing page and there's landing page and query string. Now, which one should you choose? It really depends on your reporting needs. You want to use landing page for cleaner entry point analysis, or you can use landing page plus query string when you need to distinguish between different campaign-specific landing pages. If you're running ads, landing page plus query string might end up showing many variations of the same page because each visitor will get their own unique ad code. Now finally, let's talk about the hostname dimension. This is simply the domain where the page was viewed, for example, kpplaybook.com or kpgeneralstore.com. The hostname dimension becomes particularly valuable when you're tracking multiple domains in a single GA4 property. It's also useful when you need to identify and filter out development environments, or if you're investigating potential tracking issues or even spam traffic. Sometimes you might see host names other than your main website show up in GA4. This could be because you have a staging version of your website, or it can indicate spam traffic. Our GA4 audit dashboard can help you quickly identify what host names are appearing in your property. Now, let's summarize all these page dimensions before we end things off here. Page location is the full URL, including protocol, hostname, path, and parameters. Page path is just that path portion of the URL. Page path and query string is the page path plus any parameters after that question mark. Landing page is the first page path visited in a session. Landing page and query string is that first page path but with parameters added on. And hostname is the domain name only. Choosing the right path dimension isn't one size fits all. By selecting the best fit dimension for your reporting needs, your analysis will be more useful and you'll get better insights from your GA4 data. Do you still have more questions? Check out our other videos to get more answers and leave a comment letting us know what topics you want us to cover in future videos. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.